I don't remember picking up a passenger, so who was in the back of my taxi? A story, written by u/Pudinator, submitted to r/Scary Stories. Driving a taxi can be a pretty boring job, especially when it's in the early hours of the morning. Driving around for hours at a time, trying to find someone to pick up might sound fun for some people, but definitely not to me. But that's what I have to do most nights of the week. Drive around empty streets looking for non-existent people to hail me down. It's late, and the only light that I can see is coming from my headlights, and the lights that line the edges of the streets. There is no movement anywhere. I feel like I'm the only living soul anywhere for miles. Normally, I would drive around the city in the busy areas, trying to find a passenger, but not tonight. Tonight is different. I felt like I should try somewhere more remote. I don't know why. I guess I just had a feeling that it's what I should do. Well, that feeling was wrong. There is no one here. It's the last time I trust my gut instinct. I continue down the dark stretch of road, going slowly, just so I know if anyone can see me. The road curves to the left, and as I make the turn, a large forest is revealed in front of me, adjacent to the road. My gut once again tells me that this is where I should be, but I still can't see anyone around. Why would my body be telling me that this is the place to pick up someone? I keep driving down the road. The trees alongside me are tall and overhang the road, making long, dark shadows around me. The shadows look like long arms twisting their way around my car. I feel a chill go down my spine, but I try and remain calm. I keep driving, and as I do, I feel as if like someone is watching me, like they're in the back seat, watching my every move. I try and ignore the feeling, but it keeps on growing. I can feel eyes burrowing into my back. I am being watched. But by who? No one is nearby. I can't ignore the feeling anymore, and so I take a quick glance up at my rearview mirror. Nothing. I can't see anything other than the road behind me and my back seat. The feeling doesn't disappear. It keeps lingering over me. Whatever is watching me is now staring directly into me. I just know it. I feel a small gust of air hit the back of my neck. The air was warm, like someone's breath. I quickly jolt my head around to see what it was, but once again, there's nothing there. Then I hear the voice, a soft, raspy voice coming from the back seat. "Turn left up here," it tells me. It only spoke quietly, but I knew what I had heard. Something had just spoken to me, right into my ear. I look up at my rearview mirror one more time, and this time the backseat isn't so empty. I see the face looking at me. The old man's face is staring back at me. His eyes appear old and tired, and his mouth is turned downwards. He looks like he's disappointed in me. I can't believe what I'm seeing. I haven't had a passenger for the past 2 hours, so how is there a man sitting in the back seat, giving me directions? I look back at the road for a second, then look back into the mirror, hoping that old man is no longer there, but he isn't. He is still sitting there with the same facial expression. I keep staring at the man in the back of the taxi. I can feel his warm breath down the back of his neck as he lets out a sigh. "You missed the turn," he says to me just after he finishes sighing. I look and see the street to the left of me that the man in the back had told me to drive down. I keep on driving straight, ignoring the old man's instructions. He must have noticed that I was still going straight and not attempting to go back for the missed turn, because he then spoke again, this time more angrily. "You missed the turn," he says, the venom in his voice obvious. "Go back or I'll cut your throat." I didn't expect that final remark, but as soon as he mentioned cutting my throat, I begin to panic. I turn the car around and begin to travel back to the street that the old man wants to go to. As I turn the taxi around, I have another strong feeling that I shouldn't be heading back. Instead, I should press on and make my way into the forest. I think the old man sensed that I wanted to turn around again, because when I checked the mirror, he was glaring directly at me, directly into my eyes when he spoke. He didn't so much speak, but growled at me. But I couldn't still make out what he was saying. "Keep driving. I don't want to go into the forest," the old man growled as he did. I feel some of his saliva hit the back of my neck. I really don't know what to do at this point. How is this man in my back seat? And how does he know what I'm thinking? Sweat is starting to gather on my forehead, and I feel chills all over my body. I try and not look into the mirror at the man in the back, but sometimes I get a glimpse of him and see his dark, piercing eyes staring directly back at me. I now have a decision to make. Do I listen to the man, or do I listen to my instincts? Keep driving and then turn down the street? Or turn around again and drive towards the forest? I ponder for a moment, trying to ignore the reflection of the old man's piercing eyes. I decide to listen to my gut and turn around again and head back in the direction of the forest. I take a deep breath and turn the steering wheel. The car turns 180 degrees, and once again, I'm heading towards the entrance of the forest. I look up at the mirror, and the man is gone. I can once again see only the road behind me and the headrests in the back seat. I let out a sigh of relief. Maybe the man will leave me alone now. I look back to the road and see the long stretch of road that runs all the way into the forest. I put my foot down on the accelerator and try my best to reach the forest quickly. I don't know why I feel such a strong urge to head to the forest, but I do, and it's an urge that I can't fight. The taxi is speeding down the road, my eyes transfixed on the bit of it in front of me. Something catches my eye though. In the rear vision mirror, a blur. Before I can react and look up to the mirror, I feel the steering wheel suddenly being jerked to the left. The taxi begins to turn around quickly. I look around to see what could have done this, but I think I already know. As I look to the passenger seat, my suspicions are confirmed. The old man is in the passenger seat. His arms are reaching over to the steering wheel and turning it. I now see his long, wrinkled fingers around the steering. He must have noticed that I saw him because he sharply turns his head towards mine, our eyes interlocking. I sense a strong hatred behind his big, black eyes. He stares directly into mine and he begins to speak. "Let me out!" He almost yells at me. "You wouldn't let me leave when I was alive, so why can't you let me leave now that I'm dead?" I recoil at this comment. I'm not entirely sure as what he means. I continue to stare at him, and then it's when I notice something. The large cut across the old man's throat. Blood is pouring out of the wound, and is pooling on his lap. He must have seen that I saw his slit throat, because he suddenly disappears. The passenger seat is empty once more. I look around the taxi again, and not sure as to what had just happened. I look to the back seat and see something that I couldn't see in the rearview mirror. The body of the old man lying across the back seat. His throat has been opened, and blood began to stain the gray interior of my taxi. Next to him is a long shovel. I let out a small scream, but then the memories begin to flood back to me. I now realize exactly why I'm heading into the forest.